Welcome to the MSDW podcast. I'm Jason Gumpert, editor at MS Dynamics World. On this episode, we are checking back in with Kelly Mazur of Evenica, this time to chat about NRF's Retail Big Show 2025, which took place recently in New York City. The annual event features all the latest and upcoming technology from the retail industry, including in the commerce segment. Evenica is a sponsor of this episode, and Kelly participated in Microsoft's expansive booth presence, and she tells us about the Dynamics 365 commerce scenarios and the themes she was focused on in that role. She also shares the commerce trends she spotted across the expo floor and shares some retail predictions for 2025. We also get into a few specific use cases and predictions based on what Kelly saw on the expo floor. All right. Well, Kelly Mazur, welcome back to the podcast. It's great to talk again. And this time it is after NRF 2025, I should say. It's an annual event that we've, I think, both been to in the past as well. I was there. You were there. I'm excited to get your perspective. So hi, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here and talking about NRF. I mean, we were just talking about this off air, but it is one of my favorite conferences of the year. And of course, NRF is the National Retail Federation. So this is their annual show held in New York City, and it is a great time, great education, and great networking.
Yeah, the Retail Big Show. NRF, I mean, they're an industry group, right? They sort of represent retailers. And then obviously there's a whole ecosystem. As you can see from the conference floor at the NRF Big Show every year, just an enormous ecosystem.
And a huge Microsoft presence.
Huge Microsoft presence, huge sort of IT industry presence. And it reminds me always of how much retail drives the economy, just by virtue of how busy it is and I think how busy you are every time you go, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, let's get started just by talking about some of the headlines. What were your biggest takeaways this year?
Yeah, so I attended an event during NRF that was at the Microsoft office where Shelley Branston, who's the corporate VP of Global Industry Solutions, she was presenting on Gen AI in action. And she had a quote that perfectly summed up NRF 2025 for me. She said that last year was all about AI excitement, and this year was all about AI value. So, of course, AI was a hot topic again this year. But this year, I saw AI use cases that were actually attainable for retailers. We had the usual visionary concepts, but we had a much better balance of ready to implement AI strategies as well. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, he had a similar quote too that resonated with me. He said that AI is overhyped in the short term, but widely underhyped in the long term.
That's really interesting. I hadn't heard that. Well, let's dive into a little bit more of the particulars then. Like you said, more of the reality of what Microsoft was excited to show and maybe what you were involved with at the event too, because you spent some of your time and some of your team's time demoing, right, for D365 Commerce. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so we were demoing D365 Commerce in the Microsoft booth. And this year's demo was centered on Microsoft customer Evenica, which is an Italian retailer that sells gourmet chocolate and gelato. And I was introducing the new personalized shopping agent that Microsoft has, and it's a new sales associate assistant, and it's powered by Copilot. Evenica is currently piloting it, and they're piloting it at one of their stores in New York City, which I got to go visit as well. So in this demo, we were showcasing how the personalized shopping agent can guide an in-store sales associate through a customer purchase while offering great customer service, upsell where appropriate, and increase customer loyalty. So it started off with the personalized shopping agent combined with the existing customer insights, providing suggested conversation starters for the sales associate. So pulling up that customer profile and customer insights and making suggestions on what they should talk about, like asking them specifics about the last purchase they made. So that's how this demo started. And then it guided the sales associate through the purchase. And there was different conversation prompts that came up throughout it that were specific to the customer profile. So in this demo, I was showing a customer that was looking for an anniversary gift basket for her husband, and the personalized shopping agent prompted questions about dietary preferences and flavors to narrow down the options for the sales associate to suggest. So when they finally got to that position where they agreed on what gift basket she wanted to buy, the personalized shopping agent also suggested prompts to upsell with gift wrapping. And then it used task notification to alert a coworker to immediately start wrapping the gift basket for the customer so that was all ready to go by the time the transaction was finished. And that cut back on the waiting time for the customer. And the last step there was using insights gathered during the interaction, in which case the customer mentioned that she does prefer dark chocolate. The personalized shopping agent suggested an add-on purchase of a dark chocolate bar to promote that customer into the next loyalty tier because they were only $10 away from hitting that next loyalty tier. So in that solution, the sales associate has been empowered to offer a great customer experience. They upsold with a relevant product and they help the customer hit that next loyalty tier, which increases overall customer loyalty. And I think what I love most about this is that this tool can ensure a consistent customer experience, no matter how experienced the sales associate is, which I think is a game changer for an industry that's known for frequent turnover. This demo seemed to resonate really well with retailers. A lot of retailers across North America and Europe were asking great questions about use cases, compliancy, and related solutions. But yeah, I mean, that's what we were demoing. And I think this is a perfect example of taking that AI excitement and bringing AI value, something that's tangible for us to do today.
Yeah, I think I saw that demo, or at least part of it, in the hall. And my first response was it was a really great demo, because it was able to sort of work in a lot of concepts and capabilities in a very relatable way. Although I have to say, I don't think I've experienced that exact kind of retail, experience for myself, maybe because it is pretty new and some of the concepts and capabilities there maybe haven't been ready in the past. But it certainly sounds like an evolution of some of the vision that I've seen in the past.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that as well.
Well, what else did you see showcased in the Microsoft booth?
So there was two major themes that I saw that were showcased and discussed throughout the booth. And the first one was empowering the retail workforce. So Microsoft's AI tools, including the store operations agent, they're being used to enrich the employee experience by providing access to insights, using that to enable exceptional customer interactions. And I think a good example of that is Canadian Tire is a retailer that's implemented custom AI solutions, and they're using them to assist store associates in delivering personalized support, increasing productivity, and enhancing the shopping experience. And the second theme that came up was creating agile and sustainable supply chains. This was huge. We saw AI being utilized to optimize supply chain processes, reduce out of stocks, and promote sustainability. The customer example that we saw here was Kohl's, who adopted AI-enabled systems to work on efficiency, reduce food waste, and achieve a higher inventory prediction.
All right, excellent. Anything else that you spotted, perhaps indicating trends out on the expo floor?
Yeah, I mean, I spent all day Sunday, I was in the Microsoft booth, and all day Monday, I was walking the expo floor, and I got a lot of great demos and got to speak to quite a few different partners and vendors as well. And I will say that I think Microsoft really has their finger on the pulse with commerce and retail trends, because a lot of the main stories that they showcased about empowering retail employees and optimizing supply chain, that was prominent across the entire expo floor. If I can think of, three other trends I spotted. Number one was AI agents. This was predominantly featured across the expo floor, and we saw a lot of innovative chatbots and shopping assistants demoed at different booths. Number two would have been sophisticated personalization. And an example I saw was Sephora using technology to predict what product you want in the future rather than serving you ads for a product you've recently purchased. And the example I had shown to me was, if you're in the market for a TV and you spend a week or two doing your research online and you start getting served ads for TVs at Best Buy or Costco or wherever else you might be looking, we're looking for now for that sophisticated personalization where they know when you've purchased it and they can stop showing you the ads for TVs. That was really relatable. And I think, how often are you served ads for something you've already purchased or you're no longer in the market for? And I think that's just kind of taking this technology to the next level in a way that I think customers are really going to respond well to. And lastly, for me, number three was social shopping. We saw vendors demoing how virtual events on social channels can be used to drive sales. And although this isn't necessarily a new trend, I did see it demoed a lot more than expected on the expo floor, a lot more than I thought I would see.
Interesting. I wonder if maybe it's simply more well-baked and it works better than the sort of the vision from past years, something like that.
Yeah, actually, I'd be very curious to see how that's evolved over the last couple of years in terms of what kind of ROI that might be generating for a retailer.
Before we wrap up, do you have any other predictions or outlook for the rest of 2025?
For sure. And I mean, this is going to be around AI again, but I think we're going to see more retailers implementing AI solutions that specifically empower retail employees. And I think this year we'll see retailers selecting one or two AI solutions that solve very specific problems and going all in on these solutions to maximize the capacity of that. And I think there's going to be a big change from the last year or two where retailers were dabbling in a wide range of AI solutions, but not necessarily adopting them in a way that drove success. And I think there was, that idea of just throwing everything on the wall and seeing what sticks. And now that we're evolving our AI journey and retailers are, investing more resources in AI, I think they're going to be very specific, and I think they're going to narrow in on solving one or two problems this year using AI.
All right. Very interesting. Yeah. So much to take in at that event. I would say everything you talked about really is going to be one of the most interesting trends of this year. Retail will continue to be, sort of one of the markers in the economy, obviously. So it's always fun to talk about it with you, Kelly. Thanks so much for being here again.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
This has been another episode of the MSCW podcast. My thanks once again to Kelly Mazur for joining me. For more information about working with Evenica, please visit evenica.com. And that's it for this episode. If you want to get in touch with me, you can send me an email, jason@msdynamicsworld.com. For all of our updates, please do follow us on LinkedIn. Until next time, this is MS Dynamics World, signing off.